Praises to Yahweh, Bashan Shai, right? And Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, the men, women, children, elders that are, you know, enduring in the faith, man, right? Bashan Shai, right? So, we just had Feast of Pentecost, right? We just had Feast of Pentecost. You could ask someone that goes to a Pentecost church, ask them what's Pentecost, what is it? They won't have an idea, right? Because a lot of these denominations, they disregard, right? They completely disregard a lot of these feast days, man. Right? They disregard the New Testament. Well, that's the Old Testament. Hey, that's the Bible, man. Right? So let's quickly go to a few precepts, man. Right? As you can see, the title, for whatsoever a man soweth. Right? We'll get that precept to start off with first, actually. Right? As you can tell by the title, man. Right? That's in the spirit of what Feast of Pentecost is about, right? Or first fruits, right? This is Galatians chapter 6 and in verse number 7. It says, be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So wherever, if you're sowing wickedness, right, evil and strange lusts and whatnot, that's the same thing that's gonna come out, man, right? Of your mind, of your language, right? How you operate is all gonna be based upon that, because that's what you're sowing. So that's what you reap. And if you reap wickedness, that's what you're gonna produce. If you reap righteousness, that's what you produce, right? So God is not mocked, man, right? God is not mocked. So whatever it is that we put our mind to, and we say, okay, well, I want to be I want to reap wickedness, man, and all kind of God folly, man, right? All kinds of folly. That's all you're gonna be thinking of, man, right? So, and the spirit behind Pentecost, man, is to do with the agriculture, the first fruits, the firstlings, right? Your first offerings, man, right? And let's even go to that, right? In the book of Genesis, right? This is Genesis chapter 4, right? Because you can't just bring any old nasty, dirty, stinking, uh, um, sacrifice into the Most High. The Most High is very specific with what he wants, man. Right? He wants you, right, as an Israelite, to follow Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? To follow, his son, man, right? And his son, somebody kept these feast days, man. I mean, to the best of his ability, right? This is Genesis 4 and verse 3. Because people say, okay, well, the 42 laws of Ma'at, hey, there's laws that were before the 42 laws of Ma'at, right? Before these Egyptian hieroglyphs, there's laws that were there, but they were already given. Right? Adam, see that? This is Genesis chapter 4 and verse 3. It says, and in process of time, it came to pass, it's like Genesis 4 and 3, and in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord, right? And the Most High, he's very specific with what he asks, what he will requires of us, man. You can't just bring, okay, I'm bringing this and that's that, right? Reading on, it says, and Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. So see the difference between Abel gave the firstling, right? With you want to be intentional with what you give to the Most High, man, right? Because even your firstborn, right? Your firstborn is important. Your firstborn child, right? That's important, right? This is Exodus chapter 13 and 1. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, and even on that point in Genesis 4, you read Genesis 4 and 3 to verse 4, and when you read on down about Cain and Abel, Cain, you kind of despised his brother, because the Lord had because Abel actually gave his firstling, right? He killed him, right? This is Exodus 13 and 1. And that shows you how important you have to give the right sacrifice, man. All right? It's Exodus 13 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both man and beast, it is mine. See that? So your firstborn son, he be dedicated, right, to the Most High, right? And that's how, the seed of the man, right, his children, right, obviously the male, because the male would continue the seed, and that was important, right? That's in important in an ancient mindset, not in a Western mindset, in an ancient mindset, right? Right, that was important having sons, man, right? Because that son will be dedicated onto Yahweh Barsham Shai, right? Because we could even see that in the book of Esther. I mean, see that in the book of Samuel, right? Samuel, he was dedicated. See that? Samuel, he was dedicated to the Most High, right? Hannah, she had her womb was shut up, right? And the Most High, blessed her and allowed her to have a child, and she dedicated that child unto the Most High, right? This is First Samuel chapter 1, and I'll start from verse 2, because this is the fruit or the seed that the Most High put in Hannah, right? And she gave, obviously the seed comes from the man, but the seed that was put in her, right? Out of that came Samuel, right? So it shows you, hey man, and she reaped righteousness, man, right? She sowed righteousness, and righteousness was reaped from that. This is First Samuel 1 and verse 2. And he had two wives. He's talking about Elkanah. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children, right? So hey, the Bible is not for or against polygyny, right? This is an ancient book. Don't use a Western mindset and trying to think about, oh well, it's not we can't do that today. Wait, if the Lord allows you to do that, then that's on the Lord, right? That's the Bible, right? It says, I'll jump down to verse 5. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, right? Elkanah gave a worthy portion unto her, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. So her womb was closed up, man, right? So she, and if you, in the ancient world, if you couldn't bear children, you kind of were looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? But she had faith, man, and that's how your faith's got to be. You got to have that faith of a mustard seed. Lord willing, we'll get that, right? Because that's again going into the fruits and the things that you're putting out into the world, right? And where you're putting, where what you're devoting, right? Because if when you plant like any sort of seed or planting, it takes time. You gotta have faith, patience to watch that plant grow. So this is First Samuel chapter 1, and I'll start from verse 10, right? And when you're in, you're fasting, and you're praying, right? That's a really good time to call upon the Lord, man, right? I'll start from verse 10. This is First Samuel 1 and 10. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto the Lord and wept sore, right? And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. Right? See, that's that dedicating Samuel, right, unto the Most High. Right? So going into that vow, going into that Nazarite vow, we read in number 6, right? So the first thing is important, man. It's like Isaac. Isaac is that he's that chosen child, man, the chosen seed, right? So that whole what you reap, it's like what you sow rather is what you reap. This is what from Hannah, and the blessing the Lord put upon her. As she was blessed with a mighty child, right? Who we read about throughout this the book of Samuel, man, right? So, and that's why you have to dedicate that first child, man, right? Yeah, no, precept on that, right? Because this, what we, you gotta put your hand to the plow as well, right? That's having fruits, man. That's your actions, right? Let's go to Matthew 3, right, and start at verse 8. Putting your foot on the plow, right? Doing something, right? That's what the Most High is seeing. Ah, yeah, we just have faith. You're just in some dark room, right, on a Sabbath day. You slammed the window, you got the blinds all covered up, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? You gotta be out there, man. And you might, I'll say, what, you end up being unclean, you know, you might not be able to make it. A Be productive in doing something that's magnifying Yahweh Shem Shai, or magnifying the ministry, right? You gotta be productive, right? This is Matthew 3, and I'll start at verse 7. It says, "But when he saw, so my John, many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers." So you don't want to be that generation of vipers, right? Who have warned you to flee from the wrath to come, right? Bring forth, therefore, fruits meet for repentance. So you should be bringing forth actions, man. Actions speak louder than words, right? Even on the lesson, kind of done on, going into Pentecost, you know, your I think it's like 33% of our communication is verbal, right? Maybe 55%, I believe, is non-verbal. So that shows you, the actions, they outweigh what you say, man. You could just all say and praise the Most High, praise the Most High. But when it's time to praise the Most High and do the things that in His Bible, are you really doing it, or you just okay? Well, I watch from the side. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to. I want to be a prospect forever. I wanna. I don't wanna. I'm not. You gotta put yourself forward, man. Take a leap of faith, right? That's bringing forth fruits, man. Meet for repentance, man. Right? Well, I'm an Israelite. That's it. Call me a Ashwell. Right? Read Matthew 3 and 9, and think not to say within yourselves, we have Abraham to our father, for I say unto you that Yahweh is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham. Right? Because when you read like John, the account in John 8, a lot of these different Israelite sects, right? They were saying, look, I have Abraham's our father. But Christ is saying, so why don't you do the things that Abraham done? It's all good in saying you're an Israelite, but now when it's time to, okay, keep the Sabbath day, not get with other nations, keep the feast days, right? Having faith, right? Because if you have faith, you'll be doing all those things, right? But you're saying, no, well, no, that's the Old Testament, right? Hey, actions speak louder than words, man, right? It's simple. It says, Matthew 3 and 10. And now also the axe is laid onto the root of the trees. Right? If the axe is laid to the root of the trees, that means it's what? It's chopping it down. Because hey, that's a useless tree, man. Right? Even when you read in the book of Leviticus, man, right? When it goes into the laws of leprosy, right? If something was if it had the plague, right, covered on it, hey, you would say, look, get this nasty thing out of this, man. Right? Get this out of it. Right? So look, this is the book of look, this is um I'll start, this is Leviticus 13, and I'll start from verse number 20. So like I'll start at verse 44. It's Leviticus 13 and 44. He is a leprous man, he is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head. And the leper, right, in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean. Right? So look, verse 46 as well. All the days wherein the plague shall be in him, he shall be defiled. He is unclean, he shall dwell alone. Without the camp shall be his habitation. So, hey man, if you got that, your fruits are unclean or wicked, you dwell without the camp. You dwell by yourself in a dark, nasty cave, right? No communication with no one, and no one can tell me nothing. I don't want to be accountable to nothing, right? That's that kind of, you know, the axe is laid to the root of the tree, right? Moses kind of chopping that tree up, man, and sending it into the damn they got those machines where they want to try and to chop down logs. So they'll put the log inside, and in that machine it's just bare teeth, and it's just it crunches it up, man. And it turns it into like little pieces, man. Right, so it's back to Matthew 3 and 10. And now also the axe is laid unto the root of the trees. Therefore every tree which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. See that? So we as trees, because men are trees, right? Adam, right? But you know, he's as a similitude or dark saying in Ezekiel 31, sorry, he's called a tree, right? You know, and you know, he's the wisdom that the Most High gave to him, the living waters, which is Yahweh Shai, right? John 7 and 38, right? That made him grow, man, and excel. But if you're, you know, a tree that's just bringing forth nothing, I Most High is gonna say, look, get this guy out of it, right? Get him out of it. He's not putting in work, man, right? This is the book of Luke chapter 19, 16. Book of Luke chapter 16. And I'll start at, see that? Gotta find it. This is it. Luke chapter 19, so like, yeah, and verse number 13. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds, right? So the Most High has given responsibilities, man, right, to the servants, right? And we are just the Lord's servants, man, right? You're an Israelite, you're a servant of the Lord, right? You know, we are a servant, right? Like it says in Isaiah 45, right? It's Luke 19, and I'll read from verse 13 again, right? And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come, right? See that? So occupy, meaning what? Put the work in, right? That's the fruits that we, you know, in this grace period we have now. Hey, put the work in, man. Do something. Don't be in, I'm sat in the back seat. This is an Uber. This is an Uber. Jesus, take the wheel, right? You got to put work in, man. You can't just, oh, well, you watching, you Captain Charisma, right? You watching from afar off like this, right? Thinking you're doing the damn wrestling entrance, man. Right? You better put the work in, man. And that's not inclusive to just brothers, right? Sisters too. My sisters can put the work in, right? There's many other things, like I think I said this in the lesson as well. Many other things that a sister can do. Sisters don't just cook. Oh, she just cooks, right? Like you know, a woman, you know, is a helpmeet, right? So it's like you might not know she's probably better at it than you, right? Because a lot of jakes, you know, just brute. Oh yeah, move this and move that, right? So we have to occupy till Yahweh Shai returns, man. That's what we have to do. If we're not occupying, then what the hell are we doing, right? How we just, that's like my brother said, I man, being idle is an entrance to all sins, man. Right? If you're just idle, that's giving a place to all other sins, right? So, and that's in the book of Sirach 33. It's just Sirach chapter 33, right? And I'll start from verse, you see that? Sirach 33, and I'll start at verse number 25. It says, if thou set thy servant to labor, because we've been sent to labor, right? That's why Yahweh Shai, right? He said, or even Yahweh Shai in the book of Haggai, man, right? 1 and 6, I believe, on down, right? We're not doing nothing, you know, trying to build our houses, but the Lord's house is not built. So we're not really occupying, we're just watching, right? And not putting the Most High above, man. We're not doing that, right? So this is Sirach chapter 33, and I'll start from verse number 25. It says, if thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest, right? But if thou let him go idle, he shall seek liberty. So, hey, man, Because that's, and it goes into that same kind of spirit. People say, oh, you got free will, have free will. No, well, free, those that have free will, they're at liberty. And that's not, oh, okay, what Paul said, or the law of liberty. No, no, no. They're at liberty in their own desires, right? Own, and that's why Christ said, hey, you have to deny yourself, man. You have to actually deny yourself. So people are at liberty doing whatever the hell they want to do, right? So it says, verse 26, a yoke and a collar do bow the neck, right? So are tortures and torments for an evil servant, because the evil servant is stubborn, right? And that's what the Most High said about us in Exodus 32, right? That this is a stiff-necked people. So a stiff-necked people, hey, they ain't listening to nothing. They can't be told, no one can tell me nothing, haha, Kanye West spirit, right? So you don't want to be an evil servant. And there's nothing wrong. People, they try and go to certain verses, oh, this it says, oh, servant, oh, slave, or servant, or whatever, right? Some brothers, they got in their name a prisoner of Yahushua, man, right? Right? That's what you want to aim to be, man, a prisoner of Yahushua. Because that means you don't move your integrity, man. You don't just crumble and say, oh, well, I'll do whatever. If you're doing it, I'll do it as well, right? It says, verse 27, send him to labor that he be not idle, for idleness teacheth much evil. See that? Because I idle, he'll just do, oh, well, I'm just, oh, it's a Sabbath day. And I seen a brother, man, right? Maybe he's idle, but I don't know. He's smoking and he's trying to, I kind of asked him, like, hey, man, what's going on? You Israelite? Like, they ain't said about looking on the outside, not the inside, but like, when did Israelite smoke? When did Yahweh say, yeah, let me take a toke of that? So that's the wrong fruits to be bringing out, man. That's not sowing righteousness. That's just sowing your own desire. We don't want to do that, man. That's not something, okay, well, and, you know, when you, obviously with wisdom, you know, when you see something, that you know, be wise in your speech and how you go about dealing with that, man, right? Because we don't want to see our brothers fall. Like, we don't, you know, we don't want to do that, right? So we definitely want to occupy and keep working, man, right? Don't just be stagnant, oh, because they're not doing nothing. Oh, they got it. Them brothers, they got it. Hey, you have to be, like, there's one body, man. One body in Hamashiach, right? Let's get that as well, actually, man. Right? This is the book, right, of First Corinthians chapter 6 and verse number 14. And Yahweh have both raised up the Lord. See that? And will also raise up us in his own power. Right? That's what the power of the Most High does. It doesn't cause you to do be P. Diddy, man. Right? People say, oh yeah, and they thank God, like, and these artists, they thank God and just doing like demonology, right, in the background, but saying thank God, oh thank God, right? So Yahweh Bashim Ashai, they're gonna raise us up, man. Verse 15, know ye not that your bodies are the members of Hamashiach? Shall I then take the members of Hamashiach and make them the members of an harlot? Yahweh forbid, man. Right? Because how the hell you know, we're supposed to be dead to sin, right? Lord willing. And if you're struggling with that, you gotta rebuke them kind of thoughts, man. You gotta watch the fruit that you're planting, man. The fruit, and the fruits are from, it can be from other things, man. Things you're watching. Because once something, you know, you kind of leave a plant a seed in your mind, you're just thinking about that. If you don't rebuke that, you're comfortable with that in your algorithm, right? So you want to be careful. You don't want to be joined onto a harlot, man, right? Because the Most High, that's what instruction is for, right? This is Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 9. It says, I'll start at verse 8. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man. So a wise man will be accepting of rebuke or correction, and he will love thee, right? Because he's going to say, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know we couldn't eat pork. I didn't know we couldn't do this. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. So a wise man's gonna say, hold on, right, thank you for that, man. I learned something. Right? It says, teach a just man and he will increase in learning. Right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So those that are set apart, right, they have that understanding. Right? And understanding, everyone's capacity of understanding is going to be different. Right? Like it says in the book of Sirach, chapter 19, I believe, man. Right? It's better to be someone that is, look, I'll read it. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 24. He that have small understanding and fear of God is better than one that have much wisdom and transgressive the laws of the Most High. So it's better to be, okay, well, I don't know all the precepts, but I know something, right? And you fear the Most High. That's the fear, man. That's the fear, really, that we should have. If you don't have that fear, then what do you have, man? Right? You have your own, like it says, man, you don't lean to your own understanding, right? And don't be joined onto a harlot, right? Because if you join onto a harlot, are you going to be all jammed up, man? Like the brother said, Maya Jammer, right? I'll start from I'll read Proverbs 2, and I'll start from verse number 10. It says, when wisdom entereth into thine heart, so that's into your mind, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, and understanding shall keep thee, right? See that? So, the Most High has given you this knowledge for free. That's gonna keep you safe in these times of perilousness, man. When everybody in seeing these zombie movies, man, you see people go, oh, there's always the one person, oh, we're gonna die, right? You always have that. But the man that's cool, calm, and collective, right? He's got he's got the wisdom, man. He's got the knowledge, right? And that's gonna keep him in the times of perilousness, man. It says verse 12, so Proverbs 2 and 12, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man. And the evil man, from the man that speaketh for froward things, that's perverse things. The evil man isn't just Esau. You have Jakes that are evil, man. You have these other nations that, but chiefly Esau, right? They say, right? But the evil man could be anyone. So that's why the laws are there set up, man, to give you guidance. The understanding of faith that we get, right, from reading the scriptures, it keeps you from these evil things, right? And like it says in Romans 15 and 4, written for our learning. This guy, he done this, right? We see that, right, kind of, that's crazy, right? Reading on, it says, I'll read it, Proverbs 2 and 12 again, to deliver thee from the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. So froward things are perverse things, right? It says, verse 13, who leave the path of unrighteousness to walk in the ways of darkness. So if you walk in the ways of darkness and you have no light in you, like it says in the book of 1 John, right? You have no light, right? If you don't want to be accountable and you don't have any light, no one can tell you nothing. You don't have any light. No one, you can't submit to another man, right? You don't have any light. Oh, I'm an individual, like no one call me, right? Know it all spirit, right? These are that's darkness, man. That's dark, right? As brothers say in W5 Europe, man, that's dark, right? It says, verse 14, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked. So you're one of the people under people's Instagrams, and they're damn twerking, and you're saying, yeah, that's the light, right? You're one of them guys, man. Right? You gotta rebuke these kind of wicked fruit, because it's evil fruits too, man. Get that out of here, man. That's rebuking it. It says, whose ways are crooked and they froward in their path. So their ways are like that, man. They don't know where they're going, unstable in their ways. Like it says in James 1 and 8, I believe, man. You don't want to be unstable in your ways, man, because your fruits, what you're putting out there, you're watching, you're taking in, and they're important because it's going to govern how you move, right? It says, verse 16, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words. See that? Because there's a strange woman, right? Like that could be like them doctrines, man. These weird doctrines, right? People may teach, right? People teaching about sex on the Sabbath, right? Never heard such madness before, but in Israel, there's always something. But sex on the Sabbath, man. Right? That's a strange woman. That's a strange understanding, right? And these weird doctrines that you may see every now and then, or even a literal woman, because you have women in the world, and you have men in the world, man, that will try and entice you, right? And they'll stand there and they'll shake their car keys, and you'll be enticed by that, right? You got these jakes, they'll just see a woman, oh, she looks like this because she's wearing her dress, like, oh, it's the act wife, right? And you walk after her because she's wearing her dress in a specific way. Hey, that's a strange woman, man. She's got a husband. You want to be careful of what you're entertaining in your mind, man. Right? Verse 17, it says, which forsaketh the guide of her youth and forgetteth the covenant of her God. See that? It says, for in her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. So I'd be careful of what the hell, you're what kind of fruits you're sowing, man. Because you might sow a fruit and somebody else picks that up, man, and they pick up on your bad habits, right? So you want to be very mindful of the fruits that you're putting in and out into the world, man. Right? Okay, one more precept. Right? Right. This is the book of Matthew 13. The harvest, which is going back to that whole spirit of first fruits, is going into the end of the world, man. And how this world is going to be what's the word, man? The grim reaper, Yahushai, will turn up with his scythe, right, or sickle, right, and sift rather the wheat from the tares. You don't want to be a tear, man, right? You don't want to be a tear, right? And you'll be able to notice a tear. You kind of, this is a tear, right? This is Matthew 13, and I'll start from verse 24. Another parable will he put forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. So, like it says in Ecclesiastes 7, the Most High, Bashim Yahushai, he sowed good seed, man. Right? Good seed, whether it's literal people, whether it's food. And who came along, man? Hey, Esau, he defiles the food, right? With his, GMOs and his sprays, and he's trying to block the sun because apparently pollution is gonna, God. Anyway, man, right? Show me the put. Anyway, right? It says verse 25, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. So, the spiritual demon Satan, he does his job, right? He's doing his job. He's going up and down in the earth, right? He's tempting people, right? And that's why you have to be mindful of what you're watching, mindful of what you're listening to, right? You gotta be careful, because there's, even amongst yourself, you might have a tear, man. You might be a wheat, you might be a tear. If you're a tear, you gotta repent and start putting the work in, man. Right? Bring forth fruits meet for repentance. Right? It says, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, and appeared tares. Then appeared the tares also. So tares, they came up with this, with the tares and the wheat, they came out together. So the servant of the household, so the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? So where did these tares come about, man? Where did they come from? Right? He said unto them, an enemy have done this. And if you're sowing wickedness amongst Israel, you're that enemy of the Most High. That's what you are. An enemy have done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And the harvest, that's the end of the world. And in the time of the harvest will I say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. See that? So that's how the Most High, Barshimi Al-Shai, works, man. there's gonna be tares and the wheat. They're gonna be separated. Those tares are gonna be burnt, man, like chaff. I believe that's in like the book of Isaiah. But they're gonna be burnt. I believe maybe. I believe it's the minor prophets. I believe, but they're gonna be burnt up like chaff, right? So you wanna be mindful of the fruits, and what you're sowing in the earth, man. Right, Bashim Shai. But with that, I'll say all praise to the Most High, Bashim Shai. I'll say Shalom to the 12 tribes, guys. Shalom, shalom.